Hey you guys, welcome back. This week is a tough one because I've been in the shoes of this person. If you clicked on this video, then chances are you have seen your ex completely move on and very quickly. They're living with someone, they're engaged, they have just moved on in a way, and you're barely breathing, like you're barely surviving. When your ex is a narcissist, chances are when the relationship ends, it's a complete slap in the face. It's painful, it's confusing because you're not going to get the closure that you wanted. And really the ending of that relationship wasn't even probably done in a normal, healthy human way. You're sitting there with all these feelings like grief and sadness, like real raw emotions that you should be feeling based on what it is that you just went through, while they can appear to just jump into another relationship completely effortlessly. This is where it makes you question everything. Did I matter? How was I not enough? Look, they're changing for this person. Why couldn't they change for me? I want to give you some truths behind why they're doing what they're doing, because this is a very painful situation. And if you don't know this stuff, it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect how you are in your next relationship. It's going to affect the quality of the relationship that you attract going forward. It's going to affect your self-esteem. Like all the biggies that we're really trying to work on after this relationship, it is going to affect. So I want you to understand the real truths behind what is actually happening and not the facades. The first truth is this isn't about love, this is about supply. You know it, I know it, but if you don't know it, I'm gonna remind you. Narcissists need constant validation, admiration, attention, supply. These are all things that they crave, they need. Now we all need it to some degree, and we'll need it even more if we're wounded, but this person needs it, period, point blank. They can't give it to themselves. That's what makes them narcissistic. They see relationships as a way to fill their ego. They don't see it as emotional connection. They don't see it as bonding with a person. They don't see it as wanting to give into this relationship because they genuinely have empathy and compassion and they're human. So it wasn't that you weren't enough for this person. It's that you were dealing with a person that had a bottomless pit. So you were giving and giving into this relationship, and that person was never going to value you, feel filled up, be grateful for all the things that you bring to the table because it's a bottomless pit. Like it's just going in and like it's never filling up. Everything is transactional with this person. So this person that they're now in a relationship with isn't the love of their life. They're not doing it better than you. They're not more attractive. It has nothing to do with that. This is just the next source of supply because this is transactional. If your ex left you for someone else, then what you really need to understand is that this person was easier than you, meaning they were able to get more from this person, unhealthy things. Write that down, highlight that, repeat it over and over and over again. They were able to get things from this person easier than what they could get it from you. What they need in general is not healthy things. So you don't want to be a person that was able to give your ex everything that they needed, because that's not your job, because you're dealing with a bottomless pit. You're dealing with an ego that just needs to constantly be filled up. You're not dealing with emotional connection. You're not dealing with empathy. You're not having a human relationship with this person. So you don't want to be the person that can easily just constantly be feeding and feeding into this ego. Number two, this is what they're not going to tell you. No ex of yours is going to go to you and say, hey, by the way, just so you know, I'm avoiding doing any kind of work on myself and I'm avoiding my own pain. Narcissists absolutely hate vulnerability. They're not going to admit that they're in pain. They don't like to sit with uncomfortable feelings like loss and regret and even rejection, because even if they left you, you still did reject them because you were not feeding into them. So jumping into another relationship with another person is just their way of kind of avoiding the emotional discomfort that they feel. While you're doing all the hard work, you're grieving, you're mourning, you're processing, you're educating, you're learning how to rebuild, you're learning about your subconscious mind, you're learning how to heal a lot of things, not just from that relationship, but probably that you've been keeping around with you for your entire life. This person is just distracting themselves. They're not doing any of the work. And I know what you're gonna say because I said the same thing. So what? Like I'm still alone here single and this person's still off in another relationship having a good old time. It's not about them having what you want, because they don't have what you want. Because if we were to just like take that new person that they're in a relationship with and flick them off to the side and insert you, you would be miserable, you would be unhappy, and that's the reason why you're no longer in that relationship with that person. See, if you're honest with yourself, then you will admit that even though there's a part of me, my ego, my wounded self, that would want this person back, that's not the relationship that you would actually want to be in, because you've been in that relationship before. And this is regardless of who actually ended the relationship. It might look like they're winning, but really this is just their way of avoiding their own emptiness. Because if you can't have strong emotional connections with another person, if you don't have empathy, then you are empty inside. If you are just trying to fill voids, if you are just a bottomless pit, you are empty inside. And this is how this person will live the rest of their life. Number 3, and again, remember, this is all about perception. This is just what I want you to think. Narcissists move on very quickly to send a message out to everyone. They want to send it out to friends, family, even themselves, because they need to convince themselves that they were not the problem. This perception, or them moving on quickly, is their way of saying, I'm fine. They want to appear like they're thriving, they're good, they have moved on. They were completely unaffected by what it is that they just went through. It's also their way of controlling the narrative. They might even want to make you jealous or to make you feel insignificant because they want your self-esteem to be chipped away because, again, this is a form of punishment. You weren't able to be who I wanted you to be. And so now I'm going to flaunt this in your face. But remember, this isn't just about you. It is also about them, and there's just the perception in general of how people are going to view them, that they are now having their beautiful life with their beautiful partner and their beautiful family and all of these things, when that's not really the reality. They're just trying to convince you that you are actually the problem. And it's working if you're believing the smoke and mirrors. Their actions had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with you being not good enough for them, or it had nothing to do with your self-worth. Like, we're going to just wipe our hands of that right there, because that's not the problem here. The problem is you were in a relationship with someone who had an inability to connect, who was completely wounded and cannot be authentic, did not like vulnerability, all the things that are kind of required in order for you to actually have a connection with anyone, or any kind of an emotional relationship with someone. Number 4, I want you to remember too, you're doing the work that this person will never do. So while they're just avoiding their pain, or they don't even want to deal with anything that's going on inside of them, regardless of your relationship, their relationship with you. So they're avoiding all the pain just to jump into another relationship, to repeat the same patterns over and over again. You're sitting here in your feelings, in your emotions, in the rawness, and it's hard, and I understand the frustration, but this isn't about you being the person that's losing or that's having to go through all of this. Like, why do I have to go through all of this? Well, here's the thing. If you want the relationship that you want, if you want the life that you want, you're forced to deal with your stuff. And when you start dealing with your stuff, you change. And when you change, then your life changes. Then you actually get the things that you want. So if you don't want to repeat the same mistakes all over again, you're going to do the work. This person is not going to do the work. So unfortunately, they will just find people throughout the course of their life that are just willing to put up with them, deal with them, feed into that ego. And that person, their next partner, who's willing to do that, that's their journey now. That's their karma that they have to deal with. It's not about the amount of time that you're with someone. It's the quality of the relationship that you're in. So does it really matter if this person sails off into the sunset, gets married, and stays with this person for 50 years? Who cares? Would you want to be in that relationship for 50 years with that person? If the answer is no, it does not matter. And let me just say this too, the victim, their new partner, what I think we sometimes forget is that every person is going to hit their pain point. Everyone hits a point where they can no longer put up with what has been happening throughout the course of their life. So this person, it may take them 2 days, it may take them 20 years, they will hit a point where they cannot deny that they are not happy. And this is where they start to crack open and heal and, get the strength to leave this person or start standing up to this person. And then the same patterns repeat all over again. So no, will things go down in their next relationship the exact way that they went down in yours? No, especially if your ex was the type of person that maybe left you or really did start to look like the problem. Now they're going to have to prove that they were no longer the problem, that you were actually the problem. And in order to do that, they have to stay in a relationship for a significant period of time so everyone can see, oh, look, no, they weren't the problem, just this happened. Healing isn't about pretending that everything is fine and that you're okay and that didn't affect you whatsoever. It's about processing what happened, understanding, educating, learning from those experiences, changing and growing. The reason why we do this is so we can come out the other side wiser, stronger, and can have a different outcome the next time we're in that situation. So we can learn from our mistakes. And that's why you will truly move on and you will get better. And this person will just repeat the same stuff all over again. Remember, it's not the length of time that they're with someone, it's the quality of the relationship. When you really heal, because I know all of you are saying right now, and I know you have said it at some point because I said it, and I'm not the only one that thinks this, that you just want to feel indifferent. That you just don't want to feel anything anymore for this person. I'm going to tell you, once you've evolved, you don't care about any of that stuff. You don't care about how long they're with that person. It doesn't bother you anymore. It doesn't bother you if they get engaged or live together or move on or get divorced or don't get divorced. You just don't care either way because you're more focused on your happiness than either trying to get revenge or getting that person to like see that they're the problem. None of that stuff really matters. Now, here's what you don't see, and this is what they're not telling you. They are just using this person. This isn't about genuine love. It's just about control. It's about your ex getting what he or she needs in this moment. And unfortunately, they were the person that's willing to give it to them. What you're seeing, whether it's on social or maybe you even have to witness it, unfortunately, is not real. It's just a facade. The relationship might seem perfect because that's what we all want to display to the world, that we don't have any problems, that everything is great. But guess what? The same cracks, manipulation, control, gaslighting, shame, anger, all of those things, they're still happening in that relationship because that person hasn't changed. So even though it may seem like your ex has found someone better, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's not a reflection that they've changed. They're just in a relationship where the same cycle is repeating all over again. And unfortunately, you're just witnessing it now from the very beginning, just like the beginning of your relationship. So of course, it may seem absolutely perfect because that's called the love bombing stage. Here's why you feel like you just didn't matter. You're confusing their actions and how they were with you to your actual value. It's easy to believe that their ability to just move on so quickly has something to do with you, that it's proof that you were actually the problem or that you just weren't good enough. This is a distortion created by your pain that you're having. Their behavior isn't about you, it's about their inability to actually heal from their own stuff and to have a meaningful relationship with someone. They moved on very easily, and this was a painful thing that I had to hear many, many years ago, is that it wasn't about me, it was just the fact that this person wasn't really invested in the type of relationship that I was invested in to begin with. And that had nothing to do with me, that had to do with their inability to actually connect with people. It's not a failure on your part, it's just really a reflection of this person and their emotional limitations. Like they can't go too far with you because they have an inability to. They don't know how to. They're still wounded, they're narcissistic. This is a personality disorder. You're dealing with many, many layers of stuff that's going on inside this person, and none of that has anything to do with you. When you give someone so much control over how you feel about yourself, a lot of your sense of self is tied to this relationship. And then when that person tells you that you were the problem, or they try to gaslight you or control you or manipulate you, you basically fall for it. It's normal to feel lost when that relationship ends and now they're gone. Because remember, a big part of who you have been for a very long time was tied to this person. And that's why you're in so much pain right now, because you're actually detaching through and you're breaking through that fog and that disease that you were just infected with, and you're trying to rebuild and heal. And that takes a lot of work and it is painful. This person isn't doing any of that. You need to learn how to separate your worth from their validation. You still seek validation from them. You still want them to have changed or to treated you differently or better in order for you to feel like you were actually enough. Even if you want to like seek revenge, if this is how you want to seek revenge, which I don't want to go that route necessarily, but heck, that was the fuel that fueled my fire in the very beginning, was working on yourself to get yourself in a better space so you, number one, don't repeat the same mistakes all over again, but number two, start really thinking about what it is that you want for your life right now. Where are you at? What do you want? Because that's what you deserve. You deserve the absolute best. So working on yourself to set really high goals, whether it is a great relationship, whether it is a new career, whether it is more money, like the best feeling in the world, I mean, we've all heard it. Revenge is not even focusing on that other person. It's just massive success. It's moving on. So if you really want to show that person, hey, look, you were actually the problem and it wasn't me, get better. Move on. Like change your life in such a way that you would have never been able to do had you stayed with that person, because that person was a big reason of what was kind of holding you back. And now that that's kind of gone and you've cut that disease out of your life, you're able to be in a space where you can feel good about yourself and work on yourself again so you can get to that next level and have all the things that you actually want for yourself. If you guys are really serious about doing this, I will link my masterclass down below. We talk about everything from healing to rebuilding to self-confidence to goal setting, like all the things. If you actually want to work with me one-on-one, I have some packages down below that include the masterclass as well as coaching sessions with me. I'm telling you, it doesn't really take that long. You just got to take the first step. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We are just like growing and growing, and I'm so excited for 2025, and I'm excited to kind of help you guys through a lot of the things that I've been through myself. Please take care, invest in yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.